Welcome, I'm glad you're here. Today we're going to do an introduction to the splits. Don't get scared, don't click away. It's just an introduction. We're not going to do the full splits. The reason the splits are tricky is because you need to be really stretched in the front of your hip and really stretched in the back of your leg. So we're going to start working on it. This is great if you or your kid or your niece or whoever is into dance or gymnastics or figure skating or martial arts or a football quarterback. This is also great for extroverts who are working towards a new party trick, I think. I don't know, I'm not extroverted. But go ahead and grab a yoga mat and we'll get started. Okay, so we're gonna start by warming up. If you have just come back from a run or a swim or a bike ride or hot yoga or something and you're already really warm, you can go ahead and fast forward. But it's really not safe to stretch with cold muscles. You're more likely to get micro tears and those add up over time. So, are you gonna help me today? That's great. So we're gonna come into a tabletop shape. And you're gonna inhale, sink your belly down. And exhale, roll it up. Don't look your feet. And just back and forth at your own pace. Linking your breath with your movement. Maybe increasing the movement a little bit more each time. Rest in the middle. Bump your hips to the right. And then the other way. Back and forth a few times. My left side is always my sticky side. Oh, I get to use my mat again. That's fun. Nice. Always. See how long this lasts. And go ahead and step your feet back into a plank. So you'll want to move your hands forward there. Inhale, downward facing dog. So you lift your hips, take them back, lower the heels towards the ground. You can bring the feet and the hands closer together if you feel more stable.
Ooh, wait, how are your heels touching the floor?
Mine are not, but they're close. I have done this a lot of times.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to worry about it then.
I don't think you should. But you are going to start pedaling out. So you're going to bend one knee and let the opposite heel drop a little bit lower. And then you're going to switch. So we're going to go back and forth. You also have a wider downward dog than I do, Sophie. My feet are closer to my hands.
That's not helping.
That's okay. Inhale, look to your hands, walk your feet up to your hands. Knees are generously bent. You're in a ragdoll. So your knees are very, very close to your armpits. And you have the option here to lace your fingers together behind your head and gently pull your skull closer to the ground.
Hi, you're very helpful, pup. Can you go that way? No? Okay, whatever. Go that way. Thank you. That's better. Thank you.
Our dog has FOMO. And release your hands down. Inhale, roll up to your mountain pose. Arms come around and up. And exhale, chair. So your hips go back like you're sitting in a chair on your way down to your ragdoll. Good. Your feet are turned out just a little bit. Can you make them parallel? Yeah, there you go. And inhale, roll up to your mountain pose. Exhale, chair. On your way down. Inhale, roll up, mountain pose. Exhale, chair. On your way down. Inhale, mountain pose. This time at the top, you're going to exhale, elbows to the side, heart to the ceiling, chest expansion. Inhale, back up, mountain pose. Exhale, standing forward, fold the knees, stay mostly straight. Inhale, you lift halfway and take the top of your head away from your tailbone. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, tuck and curl, hands to the ground. Heels can stay on the ground or lift off, it's up to you. I'm going to try to bring the top of the head and the tailbone closer together so we're round like a turtle. And just take some nice deep breaths. All right, inhale, plant your hands, hop or step your feet back into your plank. Feel your hips lifting up towards your ribs so that you are flat instead of pokey up. Now we're going to poke up. Inhale, rock your hips back into a downward facing dog. Bring your attention to your fingers. They should be slightly turned out towards the edges of your mat. Just going to take a few deep breaths to focus on the sensation through our shoulders.
How am I sliding? Yoga mats are like supposed to be not sliding.
Bring your feet and your hands closer together. Yeah, and you can bend your knees if you want.
I do want, because my hands are dying.
Inhale, look to your hands, hop or step your feet up to your ragdoll. This time you have the option to grab your elbows and gently sway side to side. And rest in the middle, release your hands. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, chair on your way to your ragdoll. Inhale, mountain pose.
Let's try to not hit you in the face with my hand.
Exhale, chair. Me or the dog? You. No, I play. But that's thoughtful. Inhale, mountain pose. Exhale, chair on your way down. Inhale, mountain pose. This time we're going to have a nice chest expansion. Inhale, back to mountain pose. Exhale, standing forward fold.
My fingers are losing feeling.
Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, tuck and curl. So since you don't have great circulation,
That's the word I was looking for.
instead of doing tuck and curl, why don't you just come up and bring the circulation back into your arms and hands?
Because usually it's my feet that fall asleep. This time it's my fingers. That's weird.
Well, we've been upside down. So where the circulation gets too easily is also now upside down. Do you need to be done warming up?
No. It's just uncomfortable in my fingers.
Well, let's go ahead and just skip the third round of that.
Okay.
Well, we have a high heat warning from the National Weather Service today anyway. It's pretty warm in this room. So we're going to come into a tabletop sideways on your mat. Take your right, you're going to need to come this way because you're going to take your right leg straight up to the side, toes to the ceiling.
Aha.
Right hand is going to plant directly below your sternum. Inhale your left arm up and open.
Oh, that's a stretch.
And exhale, your arm is going to thread underneath the armpit. Your toes roll forward and you come to rest on your left ear, left shoulder.
Ow! I just hit my ear on my finger. That hurt.
Well, I was all concerned it was a muscular ow, but it's not. So I'm going to move this a little bit. So you can get more of your foot on the ground. Never had anybody hit their head on the ground before in this one.
So what is this supposed to stretch?
So we're trying to stretch this space here between your shoulder blade. So plant this hand to the ground. Now keeping your ear on the ground, use this arm to push the floor away. Do you feel the stretch there?
Nope.
Okay, so then take this arm up and around and back and tuck it behind your waist. Do you feel it now?
Also, no, I feel it in my hip, but...
Well, then maybe you're just more tight in your hip than your upper back. All right, go ahead and unwind. Scooch to the other side of your yoga mat. No, you want to scooch that way.
Okay.
Yep.
I know what I'm doing.
No, you don't, and it's fine. Left leg to the side. Toes up, left hand below your sternum. Inhale your right arm up. And exhale, toes roll forward as you thread that needle. And don't hit your ear as you come to rest on your right ear, right shoulder.
The dog is doing pretty well today.
It's because we're both here. And release. But you're right, she's not trying to help. It's great. All right, go ahead and stand up. So you're going to take your we're going to take our left leg. Dog hair all over my face. Step it forward. Keep your back leg parallel. Good. Back heel is off the ground. Bend your front leg.
I'm fine. I think I'm growing because I have terrible balance right now.
Bend your front leg.
Haha.
There you go. So we're looking to feel the stretch through the back leg. The right hip. Do you feel that?
I think so. Yeah.
Good. And now you're going to bring your hands, one hand on each side of your front foot. Keep the knee directly over the ankle and slide the back foot farther away. So we're going to low lunge. We still want the stretch to be across the front of that back hip. So the hip flexor on the right leg.
Is it bad that my left knee is bending?
This knee?
No.
Because that's your right.
Yeah. Ooh. I know what I'm doing.
No, you don't, and it's okay. There you go. It's okay. As you get more flexible, it will straighten.
Okay.
Good. And go ahead and release. Okay, so you still have your left leg in front.
Left leg.
Yeah, we were just in that
Fine.
stretch. Yep, one hand on each side. So now we're going to step up. Hang on. Yeah, there you go, because it's got to be knee over ankle. Otherwise, we're putting
I'm straight.
Yeah, you are. Otherwise, we're putting too much stress on the knee. So we're going to take the back leg, we're going to step it up in line with the front leg.
And how are yours so straight?
Are you aware that this is kind of my job? You can take this leg farther back.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be so close.
That really hurts.
Okay. So, you're not going to do the next option. You're going to stay there, okay?
Okay.
So the next option would be to move your fingers to the pinky edge side of your foot, so both hands are to the left. So flex your front foot. You're going to join me in this part. So
Okay.
flex your front foot.
Like that.
Bring your toes off the ground of your front foot.
Wait.
Hang on. I'm going to get you a prop.
Okay, I am not flexible. That's fun.
Well, that's why we call it stretching for real people. So there you go. Now you have something to hold on to.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
What was going on?
So you have your feet in line, so cross your left foot more, and now fold forward. There we go. So you're going to flex your left foot, your front foot, toes off the ground. You're going to inhale, and you're going to turn out that leg so your baby toes get closer to the ground on the side. And exhale, bring it back straight forward. Inhale, turn out. Exhale, straight forward. Good. 3 more times. And 2. And 1. Good, let your toes rest on the middle. If you had your hands to the left side, bring one hand to each side of the foot. And let your head hang heavy. We're gonna stretch here for a minute. Sometimes I keep time by how fast the dog is panting. And release. Good. You still have your left leg in front, yes? We're going to come back to that low lunge. And then lower your back knee to the ground. Your toes can stay flexed or they can tuck under. I'm not picky. And then you're going to bring your face and your shoulders up. Oh, and think about your tailbone sinking down.
Hold on. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm just gonna use the excuse that I'm growing
And rest.
because otherwise this would just be sad.
No, it's not sad. It's perfectly normal.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I have you join me. Like this is stretching for real people. People who want to get a little more flexible, but who are not currently, because how many things do we do? How many things do we do in our lives that help us be more flexible? All right, so we're gonna put our right leg in front and bring your left foot to the side. It can be above the knee or below the knee. If you have really healthy knees, you could put it right at the knee because we're not doing any weight bearing, but this is not the world's most stable joint, so just be careful of that. Right hip pulls back, left hip presses forward, so we're nice and square.
Wait, like that doesn't seem square.
Don't worry about it, I'll fix you if you're wrong. So
Okay.
just get your hips and your shoulders straight facing the dog.
Okay.
Why is your shoulder to the back? There you go. Inhale nice and tall and exhale forward fold. You can flex the foot to increase the stretch along the back of the leg, or you can leave the foot relaxed.
My hips keep turning that way.
Yes.
Okay.
That's because this leg it has weight to it and it's trying to pull you that way. So you want to go the opposite. No, keep it where it was, it's fine. You want to think about this hip pulling you forward, and that will help keep you from rolling open.
Okay. Ow.
And sit up. So keep the knee where it is.
Also, my feet are falling asleep.
I'm going to ignore all the places in your body that are falling asleep.
Okay.
And then take your foot to the side.
This way.
Yes. So you're making like a little zigzag almost. This is the place where your back leg is really going to want to roll you open, so you have to make sure that back hip is facing forward. Inhale nice and tall. And exhale, forward fold.
I can't really go forward here.
That's okay. These are getting progressively a little bit trickier, so it's okay.
Dog hair in my mouth.
I know, the struggle is real. And sit up, good. This one is optional. For those of you who are closer to your splits, you're gonna wiggle that knee a little bit farther behind you. Is it optional?
I'm gonna try it because I'm curious.
Cool.
That's not going well for me.
It's going great for you.
Like, I've got a right angle.
No, that's an obtuse angle. You're okay. Inhale nice and tall. Try to keep those hips facing forward. This is where it starts getting really tricky. And exhale, forward fold.
Ow.
You okay?
Yeah.
Where's the ow?
Like
Perfect. That's exactly the target. And sit up. Ugh. It's always nice when your mom was like, oh good, I'm glad I'm hurting you. Go ahead and lie down on your back. You have the option to bend your knees and plant your feet on the ground, which is a little bit easier on your back, or you can have straight legs, which will give you a little bit of a stretch through the front of the hip of the leg we're not lifting. It's up to you. Go ahead and hug your right leg towards your chest. And then go ahead and lace your fingers behind your knee, so you're holding on underneath your knee. Inhale, straighten the knee, maybe all the way, maybe not. And exhale, release. Just working through that range of motion.
How was your leg going that far?
Okay, you remember how I've been stretching for more years than you've been alive?
Yeah.
There you go.
But it still makes me feel bad about myself. So, woo!
I was that flexible when I was your age. Well, that's not true. I'd started ballet by then, so I was more flexible. But I'm naturally not any more flexible than you. Which is why I know it's important to have options for real people, because flexibility classes designed for flexible people are really inaccessible. Go ahead and sit up.
Oh.
Okay, so you're so close. We have 2 more stretches and then we'll switch sides.
Okay.
So you're almost halfway. Come into a nice high lunge. Not a high lunge, it's a high kneel. Goodness gracious. Right leg forward. So think about that back hip. Make sure it's coming forward so you're not all twisted. You can have the toes on the ground or the toes off the ground. It's up to you. We're going to come forward a little bit. Bring your fingertips to the ground. And then you have the option to bring them both to the right side of that foot. And we're going to inhale, rotate so the toes go towards the ground. So turn out. And exhale back to center.
Ow.
Inhale, turn out. Exhale, center. I don't know why your heels are hurting.
It's just grinding against the floor.
Well, yeah, but buck up, camper. Back and forth. And then pause in the center, so your toes are to the ceiling. Bring your hands back, one hand on each side of your leg. And take a few nice deep breaths. You might get a little bit lower as you exhale. You might not. Some days it doesn't happen. And release.
Gonna steal the thing.
The thing is there to help you.
Falling over, and also my fingertips hurt.
Alright, so I can stand up. So we're gonna step forward with the right leg. Come into that high lunge. So now we're stretching the back of the left leg, which we haven't been using as much. And then increase the distance between your feet so that you can go into a low lunge, one hand on each side of your foot.
Is it bad that I'm resting my chest on my knee?
Nope.
Okay.
It's not technically ideal, but it's not going to hurt you. And as you get more flexible, you can alter that so that instead of thinking down, you're thinking lengthen the spine. But for today, don't worry about it.
Okay.
And go ahead and inhale, bring that back leg in, come into your pyramid shape. This is the one where you started using the nose stool. Ha 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 ha.
What's going on here? Aha! I figured out what's going on here.
Perfect. That. Option to bring your fingers to the pinky edge side of your foot. Flex your front foot. Inhale, turn out, toes go to the side.
How did I get lipstick on my arm?
I don't know, but I'll tell you right now, I get deodorant stains on my knees all the time.
Like it's on my elbow. But like the side of my elbow.
Flexible people are tricky. I have yet to go a week without getting a deodorant stain on my knee.
What are you doing?
This. And go ahead and bring your hands to each side of your foot. My day job is teaching ballet, so I have my knees and my arms all kinds of weird places.
My back foot and my front foot are falling asleep.
I'm not surprised. Go ahead and lengthen your back leg. Come back to that low lunge. Lower your back knee. Toes can stay tucked or they can come flat. I am not picky. And bring your ears and your shoulders up over your hips. And sink your tail down. So we're trying to stretch the front of your back hip. Do you need me or are you good?
I don't know. I'm gonna take your hand anyway.
Okay.
Because that's better than falling over and cracking my head open.
You are not up high enough to crack your head in here.
I don't know. I've got skills.
And release. Go ahead and sit down. Left leg forward. Right foot to the side of the knee. Inhale, nice and slow.
Before.
Yeah, but it was the other leg.
Yeah. Woo! We're making progress and stuff.
And exhale forward.
I have a scar on my foot.
I wonder where that's from.
I don't know.
You will be more flexible on one side than the other. It's human nature. The goal is to be balanced. So you might want to spend a little extra time on your less flexible side because the body actually was designed to be balanced.
And yet,
well, how many of us sit with good posture?
that's true.
Our lifestyle choices bring us imbalanced. We get out of balance. All right, so here we are. The knee stays where it is. The toes swim behind. So we come into this zigzag shape.
The couch is in the way here.
You
so
can
I'm
scoot.
gonna scooch this way.
How's that? Yep. I love this stretch on my back hip. I adore it. I don't know anybody else who thinks this feels good. I'm gonna guess that I'm a little weird. Inhale, nice and tall. Beautiful.
So I have a question.
Uh-huh.
You know how people are like, you shouldn't sit like this, but with like both legs?
Mm-hmm.
Is this the same way?
Yes. How about you trust me for now, and I'll address that at the end of the video.
Okay.
Okay, cool. And we fold forward. You also can take your back heel farther away so that your knee's less bent. Ugh.
Yeah, there. Haha. Oh, that is a heck of a blister on my foot. Okay.
They were very cute shoes though.
Thank you. I think so.
And sit up. Option to wiggle that back leg a little farther back. Awesome. Try to bring that back hip, that right hip forward. That's a good try. I said try. And fold forward. And sit up. Good. Go ahead and come lying on your back. Again, you have the option to bend the knees if it's better for your back. If you keep them long, you'll get an additional stretch through the front of your extended leg. Hug your left knee up to your chest.
Left. This one. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. When you just head forward. And then interlace your fingers behind the knee. And inhale, straighten the knee. Maybe all the way, maybe not. And exhale, bend. Just go a few times at your own tempo.
What's up, pup? She's being a very good dog today.
She is, except for the part where she thought the mailman was trying to kill us. And rest. Good. So, almost there. We're going to come into that high kneel. You got this.
Okay. Okay.
You only have 2 more to go, and then I'll answer your question.
Oh, nice. Questions.
Take your left leg forward. You can have your toes on the ground or off. Inhale nice and tall, exhale forward. Bring your hands to the left side of your foot, so the pinky edge side of your foot. Towards me. And inhale, toes to the ground beside you. And exhale, parallel. Back and forth.
You know, I'm really not putting my hands where they're supposed to be, but I can't reach.
That's okay.
So,
If it was a problem, I would have fixed it.
right.
It's just an adaptation, and that's fine.
Ow. My heel. Again.
And pause in the middle. Bring your hands, one hand to each side of your foot or your leg, whichever is possible for you.
Ow. That was swingy. I'm okay.
But I have no doubt. Inhale, imagine the spine getting longer. Exhale, think of the belly getting softer. And release. Good. Okay, so in answer to your question, I'm not a doctor. Go ahead and run this past a pediatrician or a physical therapist, but to the best of my understanding, the problem is not so much with your knees. Like, adults freak out when people do this. Oh, because adult knees just have a little bit of a struggle with it. But it's not actually particularly bad for the knees. If it doesn't hurt your knees, it's not bad for your knees. But the reason we don't like kids to sit like this is because the way it distributes their weight, they don't have to use their core muscles. Oh, that's an interesting stretch. So kids who sit like this, a lot of the time, when they're very young especially, will struggle with their core strength, and it's kind of hard to build that back up. So itty bitties, like when you're 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, I'm always like, nope, we're not gonna sit that way. But if it doesn't hurt your knees, it's not hurting your knees. Oh my goodness.
Are you okay?
Yes, I am not 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. Okay, so there you have it. Hopefully you feel a little bit longer both in the fronts of your hips and the backs of your legs. If you keep doing this a few times each week, we'll be ready for progression in, I don't know, a couple months maybe. So go ahead and comment below. What did you think? What would you like me to work on next? I'm happy to do whatever helps you, and thanks so much for joining me. Oh, also, if you haven't already, please click and subscribe.